How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Set 6, and today we've got an absolutely monstrous trailer to go through. So much stuff, so much crazy stuff in that trailer, so much theory fodder, so many characters, just, oh my god, it was good. Let's just say it was good. Let's just leave it at that, say it was good. You can catch my reaction to it on the channel, but we're going to break it down now. We're going to go through each bit of the trailer, and we're gonna talk about it. So I'm not going to mess about, we're going to crack on. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for future content. Thank you so much for getting the channel over 2,000 subscribers. I'm buzzing, thank you, love you all. Let's go for 3. Should we go for 3? Yeah, let's go for 3. But let's crack on with it. So the trailer opens up with a shot of Zack and Zack's last stand, and it kind of looks like we're going to get a little bit of an explanation as to what actually happens during Zack's last stand. You know, why does he survive? Why doesn't he end up dead? And we hear what I think is Zack saying, "I'm feeling every bullet." Is that Zack? I think that's Zack. You should know by now that I'm awful at picking out voices, so, you know, cut me some slack. But it's an interesting line, this. "I'm feeling every bullet." Is he trying to suggest... I mean, I don't know. He could be talking completely about something else. But if he's talking about this scene, his final stand, what if it's something similar to what happened with Barrett? You know when Sephiroth stabs Barrett and then the Whispers heal him? What if Zack does get killed, but then he doesn't and the Whispers revive him? What if that's what this is suggesting? It's an interesting thing to think about, and I'm going to say that a lot because this trailer's definitely a thinker. Moving on. Next up, we get to see Bugenhagen, and it looks like we're dealing with the Gi attack. You know, we're underneath Cosmo Canyon and we're doing that. Interesting to see that it looks like Bugenhagen might be blind. I did say this on the reaction last night, but yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one. That I suppose it was never really stated either way whether he was or wasn't, I don't think. So yeah, it's not really a change, but it's just an interesting little fact. I'm going to guess he gets around and sees using spiritual energy or something like that. You know, he'll have some sort of extra sensory thing going on to make up for the fact that he's blind. I'm certain of it. Plus, we also get hard confirmation that he is floating around on a little ball, a little blue ball. So, you know, floaty Bugenhagen ball confirmed. Good times. Next up, we get to see Vincent, and he's like, it's the first meeting between Cloud and the gang and Vincent. And Vincent's obviously questioning Cloud as to who his enemy is, and Cloud obviously responds, Sephiroth. So, you know, this is that first scene where they're all meeting up with each other and kind of like, do we hate the same people? I think we do. Okay, that's good. And then we come to the first real oh damn moment, and we get to see Zack, and he's talking with Biggs. So, we clearly have a surviving Biggs. We clearly did have a surviving Biggs at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake. You know, we saw him, but it would seem like he's interacting with Zack. So if we are looking at a multiple timeline scenario here, which this trailer heavily suggests that we are, doesn't confirm anything, I don't think. I don't think anything's confirmed still, because there could be convoluted things and the trailer could be chopped up to make us think one thing, but then it's something else. But the evidence just got a lot heavier for it being 2 timelines. So that would mean that Biggs is in the Zack timeline interacting with Zack. The only other alternative is that there's some sort of broken version of Midgar that exists extra to reality. I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on. But there's definitely going to be more talk about this. Just when everyone thought all the timeline videos were done. Ha ha! Beautiful. But yeah, Biggs is talking to Zack and he's talking about how, you know, he got lucky, he's the only one that survived. Is he supposed to just accept that? No, he's gonna fight. So he's clearly going to be looking for some sort of revenge on Shinra based on this, and him teaming up with Zack makes complete sense. And yet, we also get solid confirmation in this scene that in this timeline, Barrett, Tifa, Jesse, and Wedge are all seemingly dead. So that's hard confirmation there that all of those characters are dead. So we've just got Zack doing his thing with Biggs at the minute. We'll see more of this timeline soon. Trust me. If that's what it is. I'm just going to keep calling it a timeline now because that seems like what it is. But you never know. It could still go either way. It's not looking likely though. We then get a few shots of Cloud running around. And at one point, for some reason, I thought that the first one that we see at Calm is Zack. But it isn't. It clearly looks like Cloud. The lighting was just a bit off. I was tired. I'm going to come up with all the excuses. But yeah, we get a few shots of Cloud running around various locations. We do get to see that we're probably going to be able to get the ferry back. So once we've left Junon and gone to Costa del Sol, we will probably be able to just get the ferry back and come back to Junon. Because we see Cloud wandering around on the ship, but in his normal clothes, not disguised in like a Shimmer outfit or anything like that. Then again, they could have changed how this works, but we do also see him on the boat in a Shimmer uniform as far as I can tell. So, yeah, it looks like we've got we can go both ways as far as the Junon ferry goes. Which is good, because you were able to go forwards and backwards between the two in the OG, so I'm happy about that. But on top of the ferry, we get to see the Gold Sorcerer as well. We also get to see what I believe is going to be North Corel. I'm guessing North Corel. Let me know if you've got any other ideas on this, but yeah, to me it feels like North Corel. We get some cool looking combat stuff, but we're just going to blow past that because this trailer is not about combat stuff. So yeah, we'll blow past that, but it looks cool. Kate Sith actually seems like it could be a useful character rather than a useless character, so, you know, I'm sort of okay with that. But yeah, the synergy attacks look good. Moving on. Next up, we get a scene from the desert prison, and we see Mr. Coates, who has been renamed. There is a blog post, I'm going to cover that in another video tomorrow, but you can find it on the Square Enix website. And in that blog post, we find out that this character is now called Solemn Gus, but seems to fulfill the same role as Mr. Coates did in the original game. So he's kind of the Don of the prison, and he's the one who will make the decisions, essentially. And seemingly, we've got him here talking to the group, and he's talking about who's going to go and race the Chocobo. So, you know, things seem to be panning out as they should do here. Next up, we see some Gold Saucer stuff, and we see Dio looking absolutely shredded, mate. Absolutely shredded. Like, he makes Cloud look like a tiny little boy. Dio is looking hench. Oh my god, what have they been feeding that man? But no, Gold Saucer looks cool. I'm glad that we're getting a little bit of an expansion on Dio, because I always thought he was just a bit of a weird character in the OG. He was one of the characters that didn't really hit with me. He was just like, oh, this guy. Okay. Oh, he's going. Okay, see you later, mate. Bye. So I hope we get a bit of good stuff with Dio. I'm looking forward to that. And it seems like there's something going on here, some sort of challenge between Cloud and Dio. So I'm going to guess this is potentially him challenging us to go and do the battle arena, which is when we have to go and do as well as we can in the battle arena in order to get the keystone, in order to go to the Temple of the Ancients, yada yada yada. I'm going to guess it's that, but it could be something else. It could be something else. Especially given that at the end of this scene we see Kate Sith being all like, are you ready to rumble? And all that. Oh god, that was awful. I'm going to leave that in. That was so bad, I'm going to leave it in. Enjoy. But yeah, it seems like it's some sort of contest directly between Cloud and Dio. So, be interesting to see what that ends up being. God, why the fuck did I try that accent? We then see Best Boy Sid talking to Aerith, and I'm not sure where we are here. People have said to me that this is the Rocket Town, because, you know, you can see the tiny Bronco in the background. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like a Rocket Town environment, this, because like Rocket Town, the tiny Bronco was essentially stored in his back garden. And this doesn't look very back gardeny. And if you look at the Final Fantasy VII Twitter, they've posted, as they usually do when they reveal a new character, they'll post like a quick description of the character and like the key art for the character. And they've posted Sid's, and Sid's reads, Shimmer don't own the skies, they couldn't stop me even if they tried. And then the description is, Sid Highwind, a rogue pilot of reputable skill, runs a shuttle service out of various abandoned airstrips. After Cloud and company flag him down, he flies them around the globe in his beloved tiny Bronco. And we do see shots of the party sat in the tiny Bronco. So in the OG, you never get to see the party sat in the tiny Bronco, because like the first time they get aboard it, it gets shot down. So yeah, it seems like A, the introduction to Sid is being changed, which is something I called ages ago, thinking, will we bump into Sid at Junon? Twitch chat got involved with that as well. Pretty sure Meth said something about that. Shout out to Meth again, what's going on? But a few of us were kind of spitballing it one night about how it could change, and would meeting Sid change? And it does. We do not meet Sid at Rocket Town, it would seem. We meet him way before. And he's saying to Aerith here, is there anything that I can do for you to help you? So maybe this is the first interaction between Sid and the party, although I don't know why he would be being like this towards Aerith if it was, unless we've got some more memory shenanigans going on. And maybe Cid's got some sort of memory or vision of his future relationship with Aerith and the group, and therefore he's willing to offer his services to the group. It's possible. It is possible. There's a lot of shenanigans going on with memories and time and just like everything being all kind of jumbled up. It wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me if Cid's got some sort of prior knowledge, as he is almost certainly one of those people that will be deemed to be important to the fate of the planet. You know, in the same way that Rufus can see the Whispers because he's deemed to be important to the fate of the planet. I get the feeling that Cid could be. But yeah, this is definitely different. This is a definite change up on how we meet Cid. We're going to keep moving because I am 53 seconds into this trailer and it's taken 10 minutes. So yeah, let's keep going. We get a little bit more combat stuff. We see Big Boy Titan, we see Phoenix, and then we see a new summon, which is Bahamut Arisen. It seems like it's basically like Neo Bahamut or Bahamut Zero, but just a bit different. It seems like it's a repurposing of the original Bahamuts. It reminds me of FF10 Bahamut a little bit for some reason. Not in how it looks, but just its attack. I don't know. That just popped into my head when I saw it. Maybe it's a bit dumb, but yeah, that was it. But yeah, we get to see these summons. They look pretty cool. It'll be fun to see how they work. Let's keep going. Now then we get one of the bits that I am super hyped about. We get to see the face-off between Barret and Dyne. If you're new to the franchise, I'm not going to spoil anything, just know that this is an amazing scene. People who know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. There is the potential for things to pan out differently here, potentially. Like, it may be... They might not want to depict the things that go down in this scene in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That may be a choice that they make. But I don't know. I get the feeling that it is probably going to go down exactly how it did. I've seen people speculating that, you know, there seems to be a bit more of a conversation going on between Barret and Dyne. And that makes sense. That makes complete sense that there would be. You know, we're getting an expansion on these events in Rebirth, so I would expect an expanded conversation. Especially here, because there's a lot of emotion to convey in this scene. Yeah, if you know, you know. And then straight after seeing the cool stuff, the crazy cool stuff that blew my mind a little bit, the trailer absolutely decimates me because we get this shot, and by this point I'd already seen the music trailer. So I'd already seen the second half of this trailer because that was what they showed at the Game Awards, and then they dropped this video on YouTube which had like an extra minute and a half before the bit that we'd already seen. So I'd already seen something later on, but we've just got this shot of Zack, we've got Cloud in the background, and Marlene. And Marlene's saying to Zack that if she wakes up, then the bad man's going to kill her. Now, I'm just going to jump ahead. Later on in this video, in the music theme section of it, in the same room, in a bed, we have Aerith, unconscious, lay there, and Zack is just kind of leaning over her, checking on her. But yeah, we've got two Aeriths, essentially. We've got two Aeriths, and we've got two Clouds. Two Aeriths, two Clouds. One timeline, they're both fine. The other timeline, they're both catatonic. There's some weird shit going on here. There's some super weird shit. I'm not going to go too deep now, because this is a video in and of itself. Like, this is a whole video in itself, but I would say that this almost certainly in itself confirms two timelines. It doesn't. They could do some stuff, like I said earlier. This could be like some weird broken Midgar, because I don't believe we've seen any of the people in this timeline, what we would believe to be this timeline. We've not seen any of this going on outside Midgar. So it feels possible that there's kind of like a pocket Midgar, which has got a different series of events and a different series of people in different conditions. But it's also massively probable that it's two timelines. We're going to have to see. It feels too simple to say it's two timelines now at this point. It feels like that's too obvious now, and I feel like they're going to subvert us again. So I'm struggling to, like, pin my support on this one. But this is the most two timelines it has locked. So, yeah. Let me know what you're thinking about that in the comments, because this is a divisive one. This is a mega divisive one. I remember a few months ago, loads of people were saying, oh, there you go, one timeline confirmed, done. I don't know about that anymore. I genuinely don't know about that. I didn't know about it then. I definitely don't know about it now. But let's move on. Let's keep moving. Otherwise, I'm just going to stop here and have a meltdown about this scene. But one more thing that I will say is, Marlene's line suggests that whatever's going on in this Midgar is probably directly related to the state of these characters in the main timeline. I'm gonna refer to this as the Midgar timeline. This one with Zack and Aerith and Cloud and Marlene all in the same room. I'm gonna refer to this as the Midgar timeline because it has only existed in Midgar so far. And it seems like both of those are in a catatonic state, and back in the real timeline, whatever that may be, you've got an Aerith that's defying fate and doing things differently to how she did it, and you've got a Cloud that's breaking down earlier, and as we hear in this trailer, talking about times when he knows things that he shouldn't. It happens during some of the combat stuff that I glossed over earlier on, but he talks about how he knows things that he shouldn't, and he doesn't remember things that he should. He's got gaps in his memories, and I believe it's Aerith or Tifa. I think it's Aerith, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. But one of them says, like, I'm going to save you, you've saved me. That in its own is reasonably suggestive. Like, I'm not even going to dive into that because I don't know who it is exactly that's saying it. I think it's Aerith, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But the fact that Cloud's having this breakdown early, and Aerith's defying fate and changing things, while their two doppelgangers are seemingly in another timeline, unconscious, catatonic, what if when they wake up, the original timeline resets itself a bit? So if Aerith was to wake up, the Aerith in the main timeline would stop defying fate. And if Cloud was to wake up, the Cloud in the main timeline would regain composure over himself and be like, no, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I don't know. Speculating. Anyway, that's what I tried not to do. I didn't want to get stuck on one point. We're moving on. Now we move into the music video section of this. So this is the theme song for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm not going to dive into the lyrics. I've not had a chance to read over them properly and think about them. I'm just going to deal with what we see in the trailer. So if you have anything to contribute about the lyrics to the song, please get it in the comments. But let's keep moving. So first off, the start of the trailer seems to be the date scene, the performance date scene where you do the play and the evil King Valvados and all that sort of business, the evil Dragon King, everything like that. And we see Aerith performing. But then the next shot we get to see what looks almost certainly like Jessie. And everyone was like, oh my god, Jessie's alive. What? Jessie's alive? But then when you get to the blog post, which we'll dive into properly on another day, but in the blog post, it says this about this scene. It says, thanks to the latest in VR technology, the Gold Saucer's Golden Theatre brings to life this play like never before. And the play is a theatrical production based on the classic epic Loveless. So that's what it is. So if this does look like Jessie, it would suggest to me that this is some sort of VR simulation and it just looks like Jessie. Because if it was Jessie, I think she'd be mentioned in this blog post. Biggs is mentioned in this blog post. Jessie is not. Maybe it's because Jessie didn't say anything, but yeah, I'm going to say that this is VR. Jessie's dead. That's what I'm going to say. Both timelines, Jessie's dead. But just to kind of devil's advocate this a little bit, if it does turn out that this is Jessie, I would potentially expect Wedge to be alive in the main timeline. It seems like the people who are alive in the main timeline aren't going to be alive in the other timeline if they are people connected to the events of the story. So like general people can exist in both, but someone like Cloud, it can't work. Aerith, it can't work. And we see that by the fact that the two in the duplicate timeline, whatever it is, are catatonic and unconscious. If it's the same with Biggs and Jessie and Wedge, Biggs has survived in one but died in the other, and vice versa. I'm just guessing. I think it's personally VR. I don't think Jessie's alive, but, it's possible. So we'll speculate a little bit. Anyway, moving on. We see the absolute craziest shot, by the way, of Barrett, Red 13, Kate Sith, and Cloud just kind of stood on the sidelines watching Aerith sing. It's crazy. I love it. Barrett looks absolutely fucking insane. I'm into it. I'm super into it. Red 13 just looks like a bit emo, I'm gonna be honest. He looks like a bit of an emo. But fucking Barrett was insane. We need that outfit. We need that outfit. We get shots of the date scene, more and more shots of the date scene. Absolute fuel for the Cleriths out there as well, because it's just Cloud and Aerith the whole way. Although, on the same blog post, and, I'm spoiling a lot of this blog post, but I'm not going to go over all of it. But we get confirmation that you can date Aerith, Tifa, Yuffie, and Barrett. The Claret date lives, people. The Claret date lives. Anyway, moving on. We get to see another shot of, like, the first meeting with Vincent. There's a vending machine in his basement dwelling. I don't get that. Chat was having some fun with that last night. Who goes in and stocks it? Imagine having to sneak past yin and yang in that corridor just to stock that machine while the guy's just asleep in the room. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a good location for it. And also, we see this gold thing next to it. I'm pretty sure this is going to be proto-relic related or something to that effect. I'm not 100% sure. I've not looked into it myself, but I get the feeling that's what that's going to be. If you know what that is, let me know in the comments. Do a brother a favour. We see another shot of Bugenhagen during the Ginatak events in the Gear Cave. We get to see the flashback of Nibelheim burning, so we get to see that shot of Sephiroth turning around and looking at Cloud while Nibelheim burns. Beautiful, iconic shot. Buzzing that we've got to see a little bit of it. We don't see much of it, you don't see the whole thing. So, you know, they're keeping it for us. We get more Cloud and Aerith stuff. We get more Gold Saucer stuff in general with Tifa, Aerith and Yuffie doing like a dance number of some sort. You know, it seems like they're having fun. Everyone's having a good time in the Gold Saucer. We get a shot of Cid actually flying the tiny Bronco, which ties into what I said earlier on. You know, we never saw that in the OG. So this has clearly changed the introduction to Cid Highwind, and it's clearly changed the initial dynamic between the group. Because in the OG, like, he just runs away from Shinra because they tried to steal his plane, and we end up tagging along because we were trying to steal the plane. And then he's like, fuck it, I'll tag along with you guys, yeah, cool, let's go. So I'm kind of glad that they've tweaked this a little bit, because this could potentially make a lot more sense. So I'm looking forwards to this, very interested in seeing how this goes. I still hope we get the scenes in Rocket Town though. I do hope that things still go down, and I hope this is kind of like a fast travel thing for the early stages of Rebirth, and then later on we lose the Bronco. Or, not lose it, but you know what I mean, it becomes a boat. And we also get a shot of the tiny Bronco taking off from one of these airstrips, and we get to see Yuffie as a passenger. So yeah, everything's clearly changed as far as Cid's dynamic, initially at least. We get a shot of Dyne looking at Marlene's photo. I'm just going to move on from that. I don't want to spoil this whole thing for any new people. If you know, you know. We get more Gold Saucer scenes. We see Cloud and Tifa potentially on one of their dates, because the dating mechanics are coming back. It all depends on like the choices that you make going through the game. So we're going to see a lot of variation. I'm super up for the Claret date. It's just fun. I love it. It's so awkward and awful. I hope it's just as awkward and awful as it is in the OG. Oh, I need that comedy value. Please. Please. But then, after this, we get the shot that kind of popped my head a little bit when I was watching this. So like I say, the first thing that I saw was this section of the trailer, the music video section. And once you get to this shot, with Aerith laying in the bed, unconscious, with Zack looking over her, my brain just kind of went, what? Sorry, what now? What's happening? What? Okay. Because this is obviously crazy. Then when I see the trailer, and we hear Marlene talking, it made sense in that moment. It made complete sense in that moment. So this is, like, literally the continuation probably of that previous shot. On the other side of the room, you'll have Marlene sat there, and you'll have Cloud zonked out, Mako poisoned, doing his thing. So, yeah. Whew. This is a big one. This, like I say, those two things in conjunction, and all the shots that we've seen of Aerith running around with Cloud and everybody, like, it confirms at the very least that Midgar has been changed and people have been duplicated, potentially. At the very least, it confirms that. It could go as far as confirming multiple timelines, it could go as far as confirming so many things, but there's some weird stuff going on here. I'm personally feeling like it's going to be a multiple timeline thing. Now, what the extent of that second timeline remains to be seen. It could just be a Midgar type existence. It could be a manifestation of Midgar in the live stream like people have suggested in the past. There are a lot of options here. It still kind of doesn't confirm anything, but it gets the brain going, and it very heavily lends itself to being multiple timelines. Like, this trailer heavily leans in that direction, for me at least. Let me know what you're thinking. And then we get a little bit more of Aerith singing as the trailer wraps up, and we get the shot. We get the shot of Aerith kneeling down, praying to Holy at the City of the Ancients. But things are a little bit different. We've got this swirling Mako effect going on in the background, and if you look closely, you can see the Whispers. Now the question is, what are the Whispers doing? I mean, obviously, if you follow the history of the Whispers and what they are and what they do, they're here to make sure things happen. However, the Whispers had a bad time previously, and if it turns out that the Whispers did protect Zack to make him survive, then it means that the Whispers have changed their MO. They've changed the way they're going about things, and that could mean that they've maybe changed the way they're going about things here. The other interesting point of this is, you see the black feather. Now, you don't see the black feather in the OG. In the OG, this is pre-wing Sephiroth. Like, this is Sephiroth just dropping down from the rafters, like Sting in 90s WCW. That's what this is. So, the black feather, to me, suggests the influence of this. I've always referred to it as a future Sephiroth who has knowledge of the future. He's potentially from post-Advent Children. So, that suggests to me his influence. The black feather instantly makes me think of him in Remake. Doesn't make me think of, like, the Sephiroth that's here. It makes me think of him. So, there's a lot of things potentially going on here. I'm not sure how things are going to pan out. I'm scared. I'm scared for Aerith's safety. No, it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. I still think that they're going to do something different, but I still think in the end, she'll probably still die. By the end of the remake project, the whole thing, she probably will still die. But I don't think she dies in this scene. Like, they're hinting it too much. Like, they're hinting it. And maybe that's the bait and switch. They make us think that they're not going to do it, and then they fucking do it. Maybe that's the way this is going to go. But either way, this trailer pumped my hype levels through the roof. Like, absolutely pumped my hype levels through the roof. To the point where I was editing a video at 4:35 a.m. in the morning. Like, that reaction video. It wasn't much editing, but it was a lot at that time in the morning. So, yeah. This is pushing 30 minutes now, so I'm going to wrap this one up here. I think I've caught most things in that trailer. Let me know if there's anything that I didn't catch, didn't go over, didn't talk about. I'm going to be watching it a few more times over the next few days. I'm going to do a video about the blog post tomorrow, and then I'm going to start probably pushing out some single topic videos, like looking at what's going on in that scene with Cloud, Aerith, Zack, and Marlene, looking at other possibilities, looking at what's going on with Dyne, maybe there's differences there, looking at what's going on with Sid and the changes that have clearly happened with his storyline, because that's completely different, and I'm into it. I am into it, like I said. More Sid Highwind is always a good thing. Always a good thing. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. Drop a like on the video, subscribe for future content. We cleared 2K. Again, thank you to everybody. Let's push for 3. Why not? Why not? But more importantly than all of that, have a great day.